build back again. Righto, well in front of us here we've got all of the parts displayed, most of the parts displayed for the builds I'm going to do. So just before I show you what those are, I'll just explain so as for future reference you can know what I'm talking about. When I say that I've got a theme for this system, a name if you like, and the name is the Romulus and Remus build. In this case Romulus is going to be my gaming system and office system, that sort of thing, and Remus the NAS and server. Alright, so in future when I say Romulus and Remus, hopefully you'll know what I mean. Alright, let's kick on and have a look at the actual hardware. My face is going to disappear, lucky you. Okay, let's look first at the hardware that we've got for the Remus or NAS system. What I've got here is a Supermicro motherboard. This one is an XL SSL-F motherboard. It's specifically a server motherboard and uses ECC RAM, and I've bought 32 gigabytes of ECC RAM DDR4 to go with that. The reason for choosing the ECC RAM is it's in accordance with the recommendations for FreeNAS, which is the operating system that I'll be using for the NAS, and yeah, it really cuts down obviously on the potential for errors and data corruption. It's worth every extra cent. Alright, as you can also see, we've got the Intel iCore i3 1151, and it's a 6100. So, you know, nothing too stressing on this chip. I mean, this is plenty of spec for a system of this sort. You could even get away with something less, really, for the number of drives I'm running, which is only going to be 5. But why not? As a boot drive, you can use 2 USB sticks, but because I can, I've purchased a Kingston SSD. Look, there are reasons for this. Plenty of people say USB is perfectly stable. Others say, look, there is a small chance of errors, which you know, this is going to avoid because it's, you know, not subject to being knocked out of plugs and stuff. Whatever the case, I'm just going with that. For the NAS itself, so that's the boot drive, but for all the storage drives, I've got a bunch of Western Digital 3TB red NAS drives. I've got 3 of them here which were in the old NAS system. The one which failed. I believe all the drives are alright, I've still got to check that, and I've purchased 2 new drives just recently, so that'll give me 5 drives in all of 3 terabytes. I'll go into later the type of redundancy I'm using, that can be another episode. The case itself that I'm using, this is the Fantex Enthoo Mini XL. It is designed to have a dual system build in it, and that is a micro ATX and a mini ITX motherboard. And again, as I do the build, we'll go into this in some more detail. I'm buying one power supply that hasn't turned up quite yet to run both systems. It's going to be a 1000 watt power supply, and using this fantastic thing, which is a Fantex power splitter, so that the motherboard power and everything from the power supply can actually be distributed to both motherboards. And either system can be on independently with the other one shut down, no problems at all. Naturally enough, the power to the graphics card and also to the drives, the SATA connections, they come directly from the power supply, so they don't go through this system. So this is, you know, absolutely plenty. I think it copes with up to 425 watts, more than enough to run those motherboards. Okay, a few bits and pieces. That's just a drive tray. Got some Noctua thermal paste, anti-static wrist strap, not convinced, but anyway. Alright, coming over here now to the Romulus side of the build, you'll notice that there's one big thing missing, and that is the motherboard. Well, you know, that hasn't turned up yet. Long story, I won't go into it, but I'm promised, again, it'll be here early next week. So, you know, all things being equal, I'll be able to kick this off before I have to go back to work after Wednesday. Okay, so aside from the motherboard, which is a mini ITX motherboard, It does support DDR4 RAM. So what I've purchased as far as RAM is concerned is some G-Skill Trident RAM DDR4, and it's 3200 speed, so that will be plenty, and it is overclockable as well. And yeah, I'll have a fiddle with that if the temperatures are alright. Yeah, why not? The system is running on an i7 6700K, which I do intend to overclock. Obviously overclocking that is going to produce some heat. How am I going to get around that? Well, I've decided to get an all-in-one cooler for this one, and after a fair bit of research and help from people, I've decided on this 360 3-fan setup. It's a radiator and cooler, all-in-one unit, sealed unit from Thermaltake with some, you know, whiz-bang LED fans and what have you. And that should keep temperatures down nicely. I've got a matching fan for the rear of the case, also a 120. I'll go into the decisions again a bit later as to why I've chosen those sizes. And the graphics card is a GeForce GTX 970. These are fantastic buying at the moment. Everyone's moving up to the 1070s and 1080s and ditching their 970s. So yeah, second hand, get on a reputable forum like the Overclockers Australia forum and grab yourself a bargain. Really, it's sitting in my existing machine at the moment. Actually, it's an empty box. The dog is very excited by that. All right. As far as drives, we've got one of these wonderful Samsung VNAND SSD 950 Pro M2 drives. So that's great because the motherboard I'm getting only has 4 SATA connections. This uses obviously a NVMe Express, or NVMe rather, so NVMe Express connector. It's not taking up one of the SATA connectors, so I was going to say free storage, but it's not free. Very high speed, should be great. So that's going to be my boot drive and system drive, and you know, Windows, Office, that sort of stuff. I've also got a Samsung 850 EVO 500 gig drive here, new SSD. I'm going to be using that to put all my Steam games on it. So hopefully I'll get a bit better performance out of that, and that'll be nice. The main storage drive, I've just picked up a Western Digital Blue 6TB drive. Because the gaming is going to be on this SSD, really all that's going to be on this drive is you know, some music, some my photos, that sort of stuff. So it's not a high demand drive, so I thought, well, I'll save the money. Rather than buy a black, I decided to buy this one, and yeah, spent the money on some of these other goodies that you can see here. Operating system wise, we're going with Windows 10. I had originally intended to have all this stuff ready before July 29th because I've got 2 valid Windows 7 keys, and I was going to take advantage of the free you know, Windows upgrade to Windows 10, and yeah, alas, as you know, we're not there yet, and it's well past, it's the 6th today, so it's well past July 29th, so yeah, I had to spend $130, $140 and send it Bill Gates' way. But I don't mind, he needs the money. He needs the money. Alright, well that's pretty much what I've got laid out here. As I say, power supply still to come. It's a 1000 watt platinum 80 plus, high quality power supply. And the other thing is the motherboard itself. I'll show you when it gets here. But really there's nothing else to be too excited about. Once we get it all together and unboxed, then we can start the build, and that'll be more fun and increasingly frustrating, I'm sure. Especially since I forgot to pick up a particular cable when I was at UMart this afternoon. It's only just occurred to me. Never mind. See you next time.